Fine. Welcome to the day one of Selenium training. Okay, I have this day by day course distribution with me, what we are going to do, everything. Okay, so we will be covering every aspect of Selenium in this training. Today is just the first day, the introduction day. Right. So there are some frequently asked questions about every batch has some questions. So here are some of the normal questions which everybody has that basically what all will be taught in the course. These are the major topics which will be taught in a nutshell, that Java WebDriver frameworks, Maven and TestNG, Jenkins, Grid, right? Okay, and you will get the access to the videos as well, the pre-recorded videos as well as the videos which we are uh, recording in this current session. I'm recording the current session. You'll have access to that. Okay. And do you record current sessions? Yes, I do, and you will have that access. Okay. Now, this is an important question which almost everybody has, right? That is Java required? Well, yes, it is required. You cannot do without it. Okay, the backbone of Selenium is Java, right? I am assuming that you know basics of programming, like for loop, if statement, and all. Okay. Rest of the Java we will be explaining you. Fine. So, as I told you, right, Java is the backbone. Especially, you have to understand object-oriented programming. Okay, that is what our major goal is, to understand object-oriented programming. I'm assuming that you know basic things like functions, while loops, for loops, if statements, which are there in every programming language, right? Now, at times people have this issue that they want help in the project or they want to clear interviews. Well, it takes just 10 days to learn this tool. Okay, if you want to clear an interview or a project, it will take you 10 days to learn it, but 6 to 8 weeks to reach a level where you can actually sit down in an interview. Okay, right, it takes a while. The duration of this training would be 25 to 30 hours, in which literally around 50% of the time we will give to Java and WebDriver and all, and the remaining 50% we'll give to a framework. A framework is also known as a project. Okay, we'll see how to build a framework. Right. At times people ask us that do you provide some kind of a live project or not? Look, live project is basically a framework. Fine. And there are different types of frameworks. Like data-driven framework is there, hybrid framework is there, page object model is there. Okay. So we will do that. All right. Fine. I have kept this course details Excel in Google Drive as well. You can take this link if you want to refer in future. You can refer this link. Fine. Okay. Right. Now, look, what is the objective of this training? So today is the first day. Okay, I just want to have a little discussion before we start off. Okay, right. So that it's very clear to you that what we are going to do and how we are going to do. Right. What is the objective of this training? The objective of this training is to help you reach a level where you can build a project. Okay. Project means you can build your own framework. All right. Fine. How we are going to accomplish that? Well, out here, just 1 minute, guys. Yeah. Out here, uh, let me just give you a brief. about what a framework is. All right, what is the objective? The objective is to build a framework. Okay. Now, at times people ask that what a framework is. All right. Now, look, when you work practically in automation testing, fine. When you work practically, then of course you have a set of test cases. Fine. You have few test cases. You have test cases like I'll write test case 1, test case 2, test case 3. Fine. And you want to run these test cases in certain order, one after another. Okay. Sometimes you want to skip any one of them. You don't want to run one of them. Sometimes you just want to run directly. Or sometimes you want to run them parallelly as well. Okay, in order to save time. So these are your scripts. Test cases means these are scripts. Okay. So you have to run them in a serial order or you have to run them in a parallel order or something. Right. So apart from this, you also want to say read data from some external file like an Excel file, a properties file or a text file. You want to read the data inside these test cases from an external file. Okay, along with that, you would want to generate some reports, HTML reports, all right, which will have the screenshots of the errors and all everything. Okay, right. And along with that, you would want to integrate this framework with, say, Selenium Grid. Okay, Selenium Grid is another tool which is obviously for parallel execution. We'll study that. Or you want to integrate it with Jenkins. Jenkins is for continuous integration. Do you guys know about continuous integration? You can unmute yourself or you can use the chat option as well. Okay. So there are different requirements. So to fulfill these requirements, we use a centralized controller. This centralized controller can be a framework like JUnit or a TestNG, or you can have you can use BDD Cucumber. So there are different types of tools available, right? So this central framework, what it does is that it's, for example, it reads the data from some file. It calls the test cases in some order. It helps you generate the reports, integrate the framework with Grid or Jenkins. So it basically makes your work easy. Okay, right. If you talk about Selenium, then Selenium is just a part of this picture. It is in this blue box. Selenium will only help you interact with the browsers. Okay, Selenium will only help you write the script. But there are many other things apart from that which has to be learned. Okay, and this is just an overview of a framework. This is how it looks like. Each and every framework has this goal. Okay, right. There are different types of frameworks. There are different types in which you can accomplish this scenario. Okay, right. So we'll study everything. I'm just giving you an overview today. Today is the first introduction day. Right. There are people out here in this training who don't have any background. There are people who have a background. So I have to cater to everybody. Okay, so even if you are knowing the things which I'm telling you, I would request that you please be a little patient, especially in first 1 or 2 days, because you might feel that fine, I am just telling you some very basic things. Right. But there are people in this training who don't know anything right now. All right, fine. So the first thing when you learn Selenium is that you have to go and download JDK. Okay, JDK is a Java Development Kit. Okay, you go to Google and type JDK download. It is the complete Java Development Kit, and download JDK 8. Okay, right, and go to this link and scroll down and install it for your operating system. Okay, 32-bit or 64-bit, accept the license, right, and install it. Okay, right. So once you install it, after that you have to download Eclipse, right? So Eclipse is an editor for Java language, of course, right? So you can simply write download Eclipse. Okay, Eclipse is something which is very important. Most of you must be knowing about it. Okay, I don't have to give you the introduction. We write the Java code inside it, right? And you can download the 64-bit version from here. Or if you want to have for some other OS and all, it is also available for that. Fine. Okay. Now, Selenium as a tool, it is quite old. I've worked on it for the first time in 2006 or 7. Right, at that time we had Selenium RC, right? So these days we have WebDriver, Selenium 3 has come up, right? Selenium 2 has come up. So there are different, it has evolved a lot over a period of time. Basically, Selenium has got three components. If you talk about today, then Selenium basically has three components. Okay, as a tool, it has three components. One is known as Selenium WebDriver. One is known as Selenium IDE and other is Grid. IDE is a basic tool. It only works on Mozilla. It will generate no reports. Okay, right. It will generate no reports, nothing. All right. If you have a say test cases like 500 test cases, then you cannot just use IDE as a tool and automate your 500 test cases. It never generates any logs, reports, or for batch running and all, it is also not good. Okay, so we don't recommend using this tool. Nobody recommends, and hardly any company uses this tool. Okay, what people use WebDriver. WebDriver can help you write dynamic scripts. Dynamic scripts means that these days, the web pages they are changing. Okay, for example, a web page like bbc.com, it's a news channel, right? It's a news website. The complete website changes every day. So if you want to automate that kind of a website, then of course you will have to use a WebDriver. Okay, WebDriver helps you write dynamic scripts. Okay, and that is what the objective of this training is. And it can help you write scripts which work on different browsers as well. Okay, right. And in the end, we'll see grid, wherein grid is something, of course, as I told you earlier, it will help you run the tests parallelly, right? It will save time. So you have a central machine. You connect other machines to that machine and run the scripts parallelly, which saves the time. Fine. Okay. Right. Now let's start. Let's start off. Okay. If you look at this, this is Eclipse, right? Once you download and configure it, if you open Eclipse, you'll get a window like this. This is known as the workspace path, the path where you will be storing the complete code which we will be making during this training. Okay, right. I can give it the path as March weekday 9. Okay, right. And you start off Eclipse. Hold on, it will take a little while to load. Right. So meanwhile it loads. Fine. Look, my basic thing, the real thing is object-oriented programming. This is what I want to train you on first before jumping over to Selenium, because this is the major mistake which people do. They directly start writing code or directly start focusing on projects or something. No. Please understand the concepts of object-oriented programming in Java first. Be a little patient, and then you can actually start working with Selenium. Fine. So just a minute. It's opening. Right. This is the welcome screen of Eclipse. You can close this welcome screen and you will see a distribution like this. Fine. Okay. This is Project Explorer on the left side. Right. Okay. Now you will make the projects in the Project Explorer, and let me start off with it. You can create a new project. Okay. And under Java, you can select Java project. I'll call it Java and web. Okay. So when you create this project in Eclipse, you will actually see it on the left side. Okay. It will have this GRE system library. This GRE system library will be nothing but Java which is installed on your PC. All right. And there will be a source folder. We will be keeping all the code and all everything which is made in this training inside this folder. All right. If you right click on this project, you get a lot of options. We will be using these options. For example, one of the options is properties. If you go to the properties option, you will see this project properties coming up over here. Right. Wherein the location of the project also will be there. That is, the project is lying at this location on the main hard drive. Okay. If you open this location, this is the project. All right. And under this project, you will have different folders or something, out of which source folder is visible to us in Eclipse. Source folder is the most important folder. Okay. Right. Now you can also make folders inside the source folders. Those are known as packages. Right. I can right click on the source folder and make a new folder or a package known as, say, day 1. So what will happen is on the hard drive also, under the source folder, you will be able to see day 1. Fine. Okay. Now let me make a simple Java program. Okay, I'll just make a new class known as basics. So as I told you, I am assuming that you know basics like what functions are, what loops are, okay, right, what if statement is, fine, what integers are. So I'm assuming that, right. I'll click on this checkbox, public static void main. So look, this is the, hold on, right. This is basics.java, right, with the main function, right. And there is something known as public static void written over here. What is static? Look, I cannot tell you what static is right now because it requires the concepts of object-oriented programming. I'll tell you by tomorrow what static is. Right, so accept few things as they are right now. This is the main function in Java, and the control comes up inside this function when you run the program. Every programming language has a main function. Okay, in Java also you have that. And you can write over here system.out.println, and system.out.println is the command to print something in Java. Okay, and you can write over here learning Java Selenium. So when you run this, this is the run button and it can run the program and it will give you this output. Okay, system.out.println is the command to run something in Java. The shortcut is you have type syso and hit the control space bar of the keyboard and hit the enter button. It will come up. Fine. Okay. Now, as any other programming language, we have integers over here. We have strings over here. Okay. Right. We have got Boolean types, that is true or false. Boolean will be having value of true or false. I'm assuming you know for loop, if statements, or while loop and all everything. Okay, right. Now in Java, every program which you write, okay, every program which you write and run is converted into a class file. If you look at the hard drive location, this is the source folder. Under this source folder, your package day one is present. Okay. And you have a bin folder. The bin folder holds the class files corresponding to the Java files. Okay. Right. Every Java file in the source folder has a certain class file. Okay. Every Java file is converted to a class file. The class files are kept inside the bin folder. Right. And if you open it, you won't be able to understand anything. Right. It's a machine language. It's not even 1-0 binary. Okay. Right. Look, this class file is platform independent. Platform independent means that you create this class file on Windows operating system and you can make it run on any operating system. And that is why industry prefers Selenium with Java as well, because if you have Selenium with Java, then you can make the program on any OS and run it on any OS. Okay, this class file is like an exe file. Okay, it can be executed and the program will run because of this class file on any operating system. Even if I make one more file, I'll just create a new class known as sample.java. Okay, even if I create a new class sample.java and inside this class I type system.out.println hello there. So you will observe that when I run this program, it will print hello there, and in your bin folder, sample.class file will come up. Okay, right. Now, what happens practically is when we work on a project or something, we have got lot of class files. Okay, these class files have to be, say, deployed on a server. Okay, or these class files have to be given to a client. Fine. So when you work practically, you have got lot of class files. So when you have to distribute these class files, distribute means you have to give it to a client or you want to deploy them on a server. We put them in a single file, and that single file in Java is known as a jar file. Many of you must have heard about the term jar file. Jar file, you can say that it's like a zip file. Okay, it contains all the class files and all everything. For example, where this is Java which is installed on your system. If I expand this Java, it is nothing but collection of different jar files. Okay, every jar file will have, if you expand, every jar file will have many, hold on, class files and other files inside it. Out here, if you expand this one, yeah, every jar file will have a lot of class files, and you can use these class files. Okay, for example, in Java, I write over here system.out.println new date. What is new? Just don't run on it right now. Okay, just don't try to figure that. Just I'm giving you an example. Okay, you import java.date. Look, date is an internal class in Java. It is present somewhere inside these jar files. And when I try to run the program, this program, you see it prints the current date, time zone, year, everything. Okay. The reason for that is we are using the internal class date. This date class was made by Java guys, and date.java was made by them. So they have put date.class somewhere inside these jar files and they have provided us. And by just using this date class, I can print the current date, time zone. I never had to, write my own code to calculate this. This is the beauty. So I just use the internal feature. And that's what exactly happens in Selenium as well. Selenium has got pre-built commands which you need to learn. There is no rocket science, nothing. Everything in Selenium is also inbuilt. Okay, if you go to the official website of Selenium, right, the official website of Selenium is seleniumhq.com, right? If you go over here, the first line is Selenium automates browsers. Okay, it is an automation testing tool, of course, and it is only for web-based applications. Okay, and if you go to the download section, this is the download section, right? We'll see a lot about this section in coming time, right? This is the language Java, and the current version with Java is this. Okay, this is the Java doc link. Means the link where the documentation of Selenium is present. If you open this link, then these are all the classes. All the classes means that whatever is there in Selenium, okay, all the classes and all everything are on the left side. But to understand this documentation, you need to understand Oops, object-oriented programming. And that's what I will come over to as we proceed with the course. Okay, right. You can download Selenium jars from this link. You can download them from here. The Selenium guys also, they provide the jar files which you can include in Eclipse. There is no exe for Selenium. Okay, when you click on this download, you will get the jar files. This is the link changelog. If you click on this, then they have a brief description about the changes which happen in Selenium in every release. Okay, you will get the description about every release over here with the release number and all on the top. Okay, right. And we are obviously interested in Java, not in the other languages out here. So this is Selenium zip file I have downloaded, and you can go to this location, copy it. I think I already have it. Hold on, hold on. Yeah, these are all the versions on my PC. This is the latest version, which I just downloaded as well, right, for Selenium. If you open this, then this is the main jar file, client combined jar. This is the main jar file of Selenium. Selenium guys have also given you jar files, and inside these jars, there are all the classes and all, everything is present. You just need to understand the basic commands of Selenium, that's it, and you can use these jars. All right, and this is sources jar. Sources jar means that it contains the source code of Selenium. You don't need this actually. Okay, you need this jar file, the main jar file, and all the jars which are present inside the libs folder. Don't forget this libs folder. You will need all the jars present inside this libs folder. All right. So you need to import this particular jar file inside Eclipse, and your project will be Selenium ready. You just have to right click on the project, go to the properties. All right. Most of you must be knowing this. Okay. I'm just giving you an overview today. All right. It's not that like I have to start with the basics, of course. Right. Okay, so you go to the libraries section and add the external jars, right? And you add the main jar file, this one. Sources.jar, there is no need. The sources.jar is actually the source code of Selenium. Selenium is open source. Okay, anybody can look at the source code, and also in this jar they give the source code. And if you extract that jar with WinZip or WinRAR, you will get the source code. Okay. And you can include all the jars inside the libs folder as well. So you have to include the main jar file, also the jars inside the libs folder. So all the jars you have to import inside Eclipse, and you will have the reference libraries section in which you will be able to see all the jar files. Okay. Right. If you don't see this reference library section and you just see the jar files listed, make sure that in Eclipse you are inside the Java perspective. Okay, there is a small icon open perspective at the top right side over here. You click on this and select Java and switch to the Java perspective. All right, fine. And you run this program. Okay, it'll run normally the way it used to run earlier. But yes, now we have, apart from JDK, we have the Selenium dependencies inside this project. Okay, if I just write over here new Chrome driver. So Chrome driver is an internal class inside Selenium, right? And what is new and all, I'll talk about that tomorrow, but I'm just writing a basic Selenium command which somehow when I execute will simply go and launch a blank Chrome browser. Just by writing one Selenium command now, I am able to launch a browser. The motive for me to tell you this is that everything in Selenium is inbuilt. We are not going to invent something or anything. Okay, all the commands are inbuilt. You have to learn these commands. Okay, and to learn these commands, you need to understand object-oriented programming. Okay, because that is the basic backbone, right? Now, so I told you the concept of jar file or something. I am not audible. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, Umesh is saying I was not audible. So I can ask him to check your speaker. So anybody with any questions or something? Anybody with any questions? You can feel free to ask questions. Today is the day one. I'm not rushing up with things. You can use the chat option on the top, or you can actually speak up. Okay, are we covering database also? This is one of the questions. Anybody with any other question? I'll just answer this. First question is, are we covering database? Look, in the pre-recorded sessions which we give you, the database is covered. Okay, so you can refer those as well. Otherwise, in this training session, I don't think so it's required. In the along with the training, we give you access to the videos in which we have explained completely about database commands and all everything. Okay. Can we use IntelliJ? Yes, you can use it. Okay, another question is there. IntelliJ is another editor just like Eclipse. If you want to use it, you can use it. It's just an editor, okay? The commands and all everything will be same. Right. Look, guys, all I want you to tell is that many of you have enrolled in the training. I've been training since quite a long now. Only thing which I feel is that people are very energetic in the beginning, but as they proceed, they don't actually practice. And by the time in this session I reach, say, day 10, day 11, okay, they lose the interest, okay, and they tend to leave the class. If you are not practicing daily, then this thing will not come to you. I can only guide you, I can teach you the commands, but in the end, you have to practice. It is not something you can learn by just by sitting in a class. Okay, there is no use of joining the training if you don't have the time to practice. You will literally require a lot of time every day, like 2 to 3 hours, especially when we do the framework. Right, in this training, literally 50% of the time we are going to spend on frameworks and 50% on Selenium. So if you don't learn Selenium properly, don't learn Java properly, you will certainly be lost in this training. Okay, right. Also, like if you are a kind of person who has never done Java, who like if you are finding this thing very weird right now, whatever I'm doing, right? So in that case, you can also buy the videos, you can learn from them, and later on you just need to pay the difference amount to join the training. You don't need to pay the full fees. So that also helps a lot. Many people do that as well. Okay, but yes, please don't think that fine, I'll just attend a 6 weeks course and I'll be industry ready. That will never happen. Okay, you have to spend nearly, even after the training, You have to sit down 2, 3, 4 weeks, and you know you have to build yourself to a level where you can clear an interview. You are at a par with a person having say 2 to 3 years of experience. Reaching that level, it takes time. Okay, it's not that at 6 weeks training you sit in the class for 1 hour and you will be ready. It's we are just here to give you a base, a background, and from there you have to build up. Okay, right. Now, it's not tough. It's vast. I know. It's little vast. It's not tough. Okay. Now, another thing which I want to tell you is about debugging, which is quite important. Okay, I'll comment this line, double slash is commenting. All right. If you have any questions, please use chat and please ask. Look, in Eclipse, there is a very good feature of debugging. Every programming language has it. Okay. The advantage is, as a beginner, when you are running and you are really not sure what is going wrong, at that time you have to use debugging. Okay. You can run the program line by line with it. This is the first line which is getting executed in the main function. You can double click on this line and you will have something known as a breakpoint. Okay. And then you click on this debug icon. This is the debug icon. You click on this and the program will run in the debug mode. Click on yes and the control will stop on this line, and your perspective will change inside Eclipse. The look and feel of Eclipse will change. The green line means that the program has stopped on this line. If you hit F6 of the keyboard, F6, then this one line will be executed and hello there will be printed. Then if you again hit F6 of the keyboard, again this line will be executed. So you can run the program line by line. And when you have written a code of say 50 lines or 100 lines, then it's very easy for you to figure out that where the mistake is happening. You can run it line by line, and you see these integers, you can check their values at runtime also. I write int I equals to 100. If I hit F6, I get a variable on the top over here whose value is 100. You can see the values of the variables at runtime. I hit F6 again, J also comes up, the value of J is 200. I hit F6 again, the value of K comes up, which is 20,000. So this is how it runs. Okay, you hit F8 and it runs normally, smoothly, and ends the program. All right, fine. If anybody has any questions, you can let me know. Debugging is really important. With F6, you can just run the program line by line, and the values of variables also you can check at runtime. I can put multiple breakpoints. I've put this breakpoint on this line, and I've put another breakpoint and run it in the debug mode. Okay, it will stop on the first breakpoint. If I wanted to stop on the next breakpoint, I can hit F8. F8 will make it run regularly like a normal Java program, but it will stop on the next line. So you can make multiple breakpoints and switch between breakpoints with F8. And now if I hit F6, it will run normally. And if I hit F8, it will just like a regular Java program, it will run like that. So F6 and F5 are two important commands in debugging. Sorry, not F5, not F8. F5 is also there. I'll talk about F5 later on, but F8 will run it normally and F6 will run it line by line, and you can actually see what's happening. Now, if you want to move away from this debug window, you just want to go inside your normal window, you can actually click on this open perspective window and switch back to Java perspective. So you will have the regular window which we were having earlier. Okay, so debugging is important. It will help a lot. That's why I teach it on day one, right? So anybody with any questions? Anyone with any questions? The class happens regularly at the same time every day. You will be getting an invite every day, and you will also get the recorded video of the current